welcome to Perrin Pottery. My name is Sarah and I'm gonna show you guys a tutorial on how to make a beachy hand-built Christmas tree decoration. You can poke holes in it to make it a luminary, put little fairy lights in it, or just leave it solid. So I hope this gives you some inspiration, and I'm trying to work on different vantage points so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay, so I am going to start with Kentucky Mudworks Iceman clay. I should probably have everything that I'm going to need right here. So I'm gonna need a decent slab. If you notice, my background is a little different. My husband made me a studio in our garage, which is so exciting. Sorry about the shaking. So exciting. Because I had been on the back patio, in the schoolroom, on the dining room table, all over. And it was kind of getting to me. So Iceman clay, it fires to a nice white. I've got this form that I bought at Hobby Lobby, I believe. It was $3. And it's just made of cardboard, I guess, paper. And it comes in different sizes. I was gonna make this one, but I think it would take too long as a tutorial. So we've got this one, and I mean, it's probably, I want to say 18 inches. Oh, you guys, I can't see anymore. 17 inches. Okay, so 17 inches. I also have a smaller one. And this is parchment paper that I wrap around. I've heard people use different things, such as pantyhose, different types of materials, but I like the parchment paper. I'm going to take just a little tape, and I'm not going to tape it to the form. You definitely don't want to tape it to the form. You want to tape it to itself. So I'm going to make sure I get this top just right, and then I'll piece together the bottom. So you can see I've got a little seam there, and I'm gonna put just a bit of tape. So not to the form. The idea is that you can do this and the form comes out and you're left with your clay. You can peel this off from the inside. So this weird little thing, but it works. Okay, and I need a little bit more for the bottom. I think the first go around I just left it like that, but I'm not willing to gamble when I'm recording a video and it doesn't come out. That would be horrible. And I'm just going to wrap this parchment on the bottom. And I'll probably trim the excess away. I should get a pair of pantyhose. I don't wear pantyhose, so I don't have any old ones, but that'd be interesting to see if that would be easier. I'm scared of a lot of wrinkles. Okay, I think that's good. I'm gonna trim off the bottom here. we go. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and roll out the slab. I may fast forward through this part because it's gonna get a little shaky. I've got to, and I don't want the camera to get all shaky. So I'm gonna fast forward through this part. So now that I have that all rolled out, I'm just going to, I compressed and smoothed it out with my little red rib here. And I'm just gonna make sure that it's not stuck. So this is quite a bit larger than I need, but again, I wanna make sure I have enough. So, got my needle tool. I'm gonna start with just a straight edge. And let's see. I like to put my scraps on just a plastic bag so that it doesn't dry out too much, because I'm going to use that later. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna take my serrated rib and I'm just gonna really score. Now this clay is really, really wet. You just saw it, it's right out of the bag. So I'm gonna score this edge a lot so that I don't have to do it while it's on the form. Okay? And then I'm gonna roll it and just cut a little bit of this extra off. Okay. And the idea is just to cover the form. And it really doesn't matter I mean, you really don't have to like go crazy with it and get it exact. You just want it to cover. Okay. We're gonna go like this. Oh, my tape came off. That's what's going on. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Okay, and we're gonna wrap. And we're gonna wrap. And it looks like I still have too much, as you can see right there. So all I'm gonna do, I can actually score this again right here. And I'm gonna cut a little bit more off because I don't want a thick seam. Gonna score. There we go. Okay, and then we're gonna roll it right on over, making sure it's right against the form. but it's oddly satisfying when you roll it over and you can feel it. I don't know why that's so satisfying. Okay, so I need to work on this little top lip a bit better. I feel like it's really wet, but it needs a little something. So I'm gonna use my vinegar. I don't use slip, I just use vinegar. Regular white vinegar, cheap white vinegar that you get at the store. And a little paintbrush. And I'm gonna go ahead and add some vinegar to this seam, trying not to get the parchment paper underneath, like only going on the clay. Now this seam doesn't have to look good right now because it's all gonna get cleaned up later. I'm gonna roll it back over, make sure that edge is tucked in. It's a little awkward, you know, because you're dealing with such a large piece, but you really just have to get it covered. I mean, you could really just piece it together if you wanted to. Okay, and I'm just gonna roll this just to get that seam nice and pushed down. Okay, got a little cracking, just those little minor cracks up here. I'm gonna smooth those out. Okay, now I'm gonna trim this bottom. Let's see. Oh, got a little area that didn't want to cover. There you go. And I'm just pinching. You really don't have to be gentle with this because you're going to clean it up and it's going to have texture on it. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of some of this extra on the bottom here. I can see the form inside. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim off. I'm not gonna go all the way just yet because I don't wanna go too far. I've done that before. You can always take off more. So can you guys see? I'm going to take off a little bit more now that I can see a bit better. And it's really nice that I can just roll this cone. And do a little bit more. There's so many different ways that you can decorate this. I've seen people use little balls of clay, and that ends up being really cute. Let me show you. I did a small one like that. This was just a really small pinch pot one that I did little balls. You smush them on and then you use a wet finger and just pull up. You start at the bottom and you work your way up. Put a blob and then smush it up. Put a blob, smush it up. And then this was just a separate little cookie cutter star that I made. Okay, so now I'm gonna start working on this seam a little bit more. Actually, actually, I'm feeling like this tip is a little bit, it's starting to dry out a bit more than I like. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover it, put a plastic bag over it while I'm working on the rest. Because the smaller pieces on an item will dry out quicker than the larger pieces. Or the edges, if you're doing a platter, the edges will dry out quicker, and when clay dries, it shrinks. So if you're doing a platter, the edges will dry out and will shrink quicker than the inside, and that's how you end up with the wavy rims. Actually, I wonder if I can show you. I don't think I can show you. I'm doing another one of those football platters for my husband, and I had plastic over it, so it was still in the form. It was still in the football form, and I had plastic over it, and I just didn't tuck it. Like the plastic was just laying across it like that. But air must have gotten in through the side, and this one edge started lifting up higher than the other, just from that little bit of air. So now I'm gonna take this little pony roller and smooth out this edge a bit more. All right, so I'm gonna work on this guy at the top. I can feel it just starting to dry out just a little bit, so I'm going to cover it. Okay. And there it is. I'm so happy to have this large table. I found it, this big, it was like a drafting desk for a printmaking company, and they were getting rid of it, and it's massive. They actually had to cut it down quite a bit, but it works out great, and it was free, which is even better. Okay, so I'm just going to, I don't want to block what you guys can see. Okay. So that'll just protect the top as I work on these larger pieces down here. Try not to introduce too much water. That tends to be an enemy of hand building. But sometimes you need just a little bit to smooth out the seams. Let's see. Okay. That's looking pretty good. I'm not going to worry too much about fingerprints and stuff just yet. I'm going to go ahead and move the camera over to the side here so you guys can get a better view of exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so you'll have to let me know how this angle is. I know the background isn't as nice looking, but I feel like you can see what I'm doing a little bit better since I'm a righty, and it's really hard to work backwards. Okay, so I've got my little cone here. What I'm gonna do next, I think, The bottom isn't too bad, and it's still a little wet to be cutting and trimming it. So I'm gonna start working on surface decorations. I bought these, actually they were a gift for my birthday. Thank you, Kim. They're little printmaking stamps. They're used for fabric. So I just use these as little stamps. So I'm thinking, I kind of picked ones that look like seaweed or sea grasses. I don't know, that kind of looks like shells. I thought maybe I could use that one on the bottom. I'm gonna grab my cornstarch and just add a little here so that I can dab it in. I'm gonna start with this one and work on the very bottom. Maybe I'm not, because I haven't trimmed it yet. You know what? I'm not gonna use this one. This really isn't all planned out. I really don't know what I'm gonna do until I do it. So, okay, I'm gonna start with this one. I do a little tap, tap, tap. Not a ton, just enough. And let me grab my banding wheel. I feel like that'll be better. Boy, I'm glad I didn't do the big one on video. That would have been really challenging. Okay. Okay, so I've got my stamp and I'm just gonna go to town. Make sure it's somewhat vertical, it doesn't really matter. But since there's a form in there, I can really push in deep. And there we go. So what I'm gonna do is pull this to the edge a bit so that I can do different heights. You see how I'm able to go down on the bottom? That's cute. I'll do this one next to it. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go around and do the same thing. This one's kind of cute. It looks like coral in my opinion. I'm pushing fairly hard because I want to get a good impression. Can you see that? It's got little bubbles and dots and stuff. So it's interesting. You have to kind of work backwards. You have to think of what you want in the background first, then the foreground. Okay. So I think that's, actually, I'm gonna add one more here. No, I'm not. It's too much. Okay, I'm just gonna smooth out any lines that I may see. Most of this is still gonna get covered up. I may do one here on the seam. Okay, so I think that's good for that. And again, that's really just a background. So now we get to play and we get to do some of the fun stuff. So let me go ahead and grab my little sprigs and we'll work on that. Okay, so I've got my bag. I need to probably organize them a little bit better, but this is all my like tropical stuff. And some of them I bought off of just Amazon or at the craft stores. Some I made myself with shells that I've found at the beach. But most of them, yeah, are from the craft stores. So, just kind of looking through here to see which ones I want to do. That's kind of fun. That's really small though. I don't know if I can manage to get that one on. This one's kind of nice. Ooh, look at that. Do I want that? That's a little, I don't know, that's a little spooky for Christmas. A little turtle shell, or turtle, that I did on the other one. I may try to make this one a little bit different. That's pretty. There's an angelfish. Maybe I'll do an angelfish. And this is where you can just go nuts with everything that you can do. Okay, but first I need to trim off this bottom. I need to know where exactly my bottom is going to be so that I can add the shells and everything on the right spot. Just have a few fingerprints. Not that it's really going to matter because I'm going to put texture on it. I'm going to carve it later. All right, I'm not going to get carried away. All right, so boy, this is nerve-wracking. I'm just going to go straight up to where I can't feel the wood. And I'm just going to go really slow. Fortunately, this one has a bottom. Let me show you what I'm doing on this large one. This one has a bottom on it. So I'm taking my knife and I'm just running it along this edge right there. See? Okay. I usually like to cut things when it's a little firmer, but I don't want to take the time to wait. So for those, when I have scraps like this, I dip it in my clean water bucket and I just toss it in a plastic bag and cover it, and that will keep it wet enough that I can re-wedge it and work with it again. Okay, I think that's good enough. I may just fiddle around with it later when it's a little bit more dry, but That's a good start. Okay, so I'm gonna start, I think, with some additional corals. So when I work with these, cornstarch is your friend. When I forget to do that, I kick myself because it really does get stuck, especially if your clay is really wet, which is what you want when you're working with these molds. You really want wet clay so that it forms into all the different crevices. Okay, I've got a scooch. There we go. Wonder if I can move you guys. Yeah, let's do that. That way you can see a bit better. My clay, and it's really wet, and I'm just gonna push it in. This one has 2, so I'm gonna work one at a time. Sometimes I use a little pony roller to really get it in. Okay, and then I take my thumb and I work from inside, the inside bit, out, and I just pull it off. Pull it off. Can you see that? That way I'm not stretching the mold too much. And this is why you need the really wet clay. Okay, here's that little edge. And then I give it a good solid push. Really push it down there to get all of the imprint. And then I'll work on the edges. Okay, and I'm gonna let that dry a bit. I think this one's still okay to work with. And I'm gonna go ahead and push this one in. Okay. Should I try that other one? Maybe I should try that other one. Okay, so while it's in there, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna score it. And I'm not shy about it. I really get in there and I pull towards the outside of it. Okay, so that one is done. I'm gonna set it aside to firm up a bit. Let's put these guys over here. I'm kind of in the process of glazing Christmas ornaments as well. I think I should try that other one. I don't know. This is really, really shallow, but it's a fun little image. I'm gonna give it a try. Make sure it gets in there really well. Tap it out. Okay, let's give it a try. I don't think this is gonna work, but it's not like a hard rubber or a hard silicone. Nah, it's not gonna work. That's okay. Move on. All right, so this is starting to get dry. I'm gonna dip it and I'm gonna put it back in here and use fresh. So I'm gonna start working while this coral firms up a bit. I'm gonna start working on some shells. Let's see. Let's start with a scallop shell. It's really pretty. I'm trying to make these fairly thin so they don't stick out too much. Okay, I'm gonna probably put you guys on time lapse because this can be a little monotonous. Okay, so now that I have most of my pieces, I think I'm gonna do a few more, but I wanna go ahead and get this coral out from the mold to put on the background. I'm gonna dip in my little vinegar, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it on while it's in the silicone mold still. Trying not to get to too close to the edges, so I don't want to get it too goopy. Okay, I'm going to decide where I want this. I may start with the smaller one, and I think I'm going to overlap. I put it there, yeah, you guys can see. If I overlap this, and I'm going to push it on while it's still in the mold, and then slowly pull it away, and then you're left with your little impression. There's always a little bit of cleanup, but it's still so wet in there that I'm not gonna mess with it for right now. I think I'm gonna put this one right here, so I'm lining it up. And you kind of peel it, I don't know if you can see, kind of push it in till it sticks. And I'm not worrying about the bottom, there we go. Peeling it away. There we go. I'm not worrying about getting every little piece, like if a piece gets stuck in there, I'm not gonna worry too much. And this is still pretty damp, so I'm not concerned about scoring the actual piece right now. It's still very, very wet. Plus with the vinegar, it takes care of it. So I'm gently pushing all of the little pieces. If you're gonna have a problem with something popping off, it's one of these tiny little finger things that come off. So now that I have that, on, I'm gonna go ahead and fill this again because I want to use it again over on this side. I'm gonna quickly dab with cornstarch and then tap out the excess. start with the small one. Scooch over here so you guys can see. And since it's so wet, I can just kind of layer it on top of each other. If I miss a spot, just go ahead and go right back in. It's really nice when you've got wet clay. The downside is it leaves little indentations and stuff, but you can always clean it up later. Okay. You'll have to let me know what would make this video a little bit better for you guys. I'm normally not a chatty person. I kind of come into my studio to just be quiet and be still. But I can try talking a bit more if that's helpful. Kind of a visual learner, so I can just, if I see somebody do something, I can fairly easily replicate it. But I know some people are auditory learners. Okay, normally I like to let this set a little bit, but I really want to get this background. So I kind of like the idea of it overlapping these. So that's a small one. I may do a large one, maybe right here. I didn't let this one sit, so I'm hoping it comes out okay. For those of you, I don't know if I've mentioned it, oh, my light just went off. It's motion sensor. I'm a homeschool mom. I've got 3 kids home with me every day. Actually, my littlest is at a co-op day, where she gets to do science projects and all the art projects and fun stuff. So this is my day to try to film and get things out without having extra noise in the house. So a little bit about myself. I was actually homeschooled as a kid. I was a competitive gymnast. I did gymnastics for my entire childhood. Made it to Junior Olympic, and it was pretty intense. So now my youngest actually takes gymnastics, and she's actually pretty good. She wants to go over onto the big girl side. Right now she's just doing recreation, which I'm fine with. But she seems to want to do more and more, so we'll see where that goes. So anyway, yeah, I was homeschooled, and then when I ended up having kids, rewind, I was a nurse. I worked on an ortho trauma floor and really loved helping people. And then got married and had kids, and my husband started his own business. And it just got to be way too much with all of the meetings and continuing education stuff when I started homeschooling my son. And so I retired from nursing. I still have my license. But yeah, 3 kids later, I'm still homeschooling them. My son is doing dual credit college courses, which is just insane to me. because I still see him as my little boy. And I've got my littlest, who's 6, who just started kindergarten. And that's crazy that I'm like starting over, teaching another little one to read and write and everything. It's like back from the very beginning. But life is good. I'm very blessed. But I'm just thrilled that I found pottery. This has been so great. It's such a great outlet for me. I've always loved being creative. I used to sew a little bit, like my girls, I would sew them little dresses and stuff. And I loved that, finding patterns and making cute things. And then I did their birthday cakes. And I think that's why I like hand building so much, is I taught myself how to do those fancy cakes with all the fondant decorations and everything. If I can find some pictures, I'll post some photos on the video of their birthday cakes and everything. It was so fun. But a lot of work, and the piece was gone, you know, within minutes, because you would cut it and eat it. So all I would have left was the pictures of the things that I would make. And then I found pottery. I took a 6-week class for my birthday and fell in love. Okay, so back to the piece. So I really like the coral. I think I'm gonna add these fun, gosh, I don't know what they are. Are they anemones? Anemones? Let's see. So I'm just gonna make little, oh, you can't see me. I'm gonna make little strips. Doesn't matter what size. And try to round them off a little bit. I'm gonna wet down my table because I'm gonna roll a coil. If you're doing coils, it's helpful to wet your surface just a little bit so it doesn't dry out too much. I'm giving it a little twist. Just to give it some texture. Okay, I'm gonna cut the bottom. And let's see. Maybe cut the top just a little bit. Gonna dip it in water. I'm just trying to make like little sea grasses. Okay. Kind of looks like a narwhal horn or unicorn. So let's see. I think I'm gonna do something right here. Now, since this is so narrow, I'm gonna go ahead and score. Just go in with it. Score the back side. Okay. What do we think? What do we think? That's kind of cool. All right, let's add another one. Maybe a smaller one. Start twisting it. Kind of like how they make candy canes. So I'm curious, I think most people that are into pottery are pretty crafty people in general. I'm curious if other people that watch, do you have another hobby? Like, I really like to garden also. Ooh, that's fun. Look, I can do a curly Q thing. Is that too much? That's too much. Too much. Back away, Sarah, back away. Okay. So I've got a little curly Q. I'm gonna go in right next to this. So yeah, I really like to garden. Vegetable gardening as much as I can in South Florida. It's a little tricky. Our season is just the opposite of everyone else's, where we plant in the fall and winter because the summer is just too hot and humid. So that's something that I'm going to be working on soon, is getting our garden. I've got it covered up right now. Okay, I like that. Okay, next I'm going to try to do little coral-y things. Nice soft edges. Okay. Let's see. This is really thick right here. I'm gonna try to cut off some of that. Kind of flatten it out just a bit. More vinegar. Score it. There we go. Looks cute. Oh, my tummy is growling. My little one gets home from her thing in about a half an hour, so I'm trying to power through. Get most of this filmed. I like the look of overlapping. And again, I'll clean up the bottom. Any goobers and stuff. I can do some now, but it's probably better when it's firmed up a little bit. Okie dokie. Let's do a couple more. I'm just smoothing this out. Okay. to get down here so I can see what I'm doing. I think we're gonna go in right here. Okay. All right, I'm gonna do a few more little, smaller little coral balls. I just make a little ball and then tap down the back and the bottom. Just a little pebble, little rock. Okay, score it. Okay, that's gonna go there. All right, now let's see. I've got all of these little things. Probably should have folded this while it was wet. Kind of dried out a bit, but let's see. Yeah, it's cracking. Maybe make another one. That's cool. I'm gonna make another one. So that's this pattern, which I think is just like a pawn. No, it's a is it a nasturtium? I don't know. So it looked kind of cool though. All right, I'm gonna push that in. It's got a way that it fits in itself. There's a tiny little, I think that tiny little goes right here. So I'm gonna pull the edges off. Kind of compress the edges since I just ripped them. Okay, put it down, get a really good imprint, pull it up. Okay, now I think I'm gonna cut it in half. And it already has these like waves. Let's see if I can do that. What do we think? I don't know. I could see it in my mind, but can't seem to make it happen. Maybe I'll just leave it flat like this. I mean, that's kind of cool. If I put a shell in front of it or a little something. Maybe I'll put it here and take my little pebble off. Ooh, that's a good spot. Let's do that. There's really no rhyme or reason to this. Just whatever you think looks good. Okay. There we go. So this clay on the bottom is still really wet, so I'm not too concerned about it shrinking yet. It'll still come off of the form. Yeah. I joke my my maker's mark should be like my pinky nail, my nail, because I think every piece has a nail gouge in it. Okay. I think our little pebble's gonna go back on. Okay. All right, so time, you know what? I want a few more, like, kind of like those. Maybe I'll do it over here. So these things are kind of fun. I don't know what they're called. I'm gonna make one taller, one shorter. So they kind of get wider at the top. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna tap it down. Thin this part out. I'm kind of making it looks like a golf tee. Okay, see? I just made like it's like a golf tee, right? Thicker at the one end and then thinner at the bottom. This one's too long. Yeah, I may have it wiggle around. We'll see. Okay, now I need just a ball end, and I'm gonna cradle this. I'm gonna push it in. Look at that. Cute. Has a little bit of cracking, so I'm gonna go ahead and just rehydrate the edges just a little bit. Okay, there's that one. I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. So fun. Okay, now where am I gonna put it? That has that. I may do it right here. Actually, I'm gonna do the long one first. Okay, and I think I want this to be kind of wavy. And I think I'm gonna make one more. This is starting to get a little too dry though. Let me go ahead and take my little scraps, dip them in the water, come back, grab a little bit more. Oh, my hands are wet though. Okay. It's actually too wet. Let's see. Okie dokie. That's cute. I like that. A little vinegar. Whoops, I forgot my little hole. So fun. All right, I'm just gonna pull that off. Push them down a little bit. And I'm just gonna clean up this edge just a bit. I've got my scoring marks here. Okay. All right, what do you think? It's getting there. I think I should do the shells now before I get too carried away. So I have found, let's see, the bigger shells go better first. So I don't know if you could see, they were like, look, the thing is about, it's just popping right off, just like that. So let me scooch over so you guys can see what I'm doing. This is gonna go, I'm gonna cut the bottom off. Cut the bottom off. There we go. And he's gonna go kind of on the bottom here. It's pretty dry now, so definitely need to score and slip, or score and vinegar, I should say. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then where's my scorer? Okay. Now there's still the form underneath, so I'm still able to push against it. Really make sure you get the edges down. Okay, I'm just getting the back, again, you have to work backwards, so I'm getting the background first. I think next I'm gonna do this large. Ooh, that's pretty big though. I don't know, I may not use him. Oh, it's so pretty though. What if I do it like right here? Cut it off. Let's try it. Is that how I wanted it? So it's like laying on its side. Yeah, like that. This is where I could get really crazy. I just had a little piece broke off on my hand. Let's see, we can put him back on. Or do I want to do that? No. My light went off again. There we go. Which way did it go? That, I think. Is that how it went? How did you go? Oh, I'm messing that up. I'm just gonna leave it. Okay. All right. I've got these tiny little, they're actually succulents, a succulent thing, but I thought, wow, they really look like something you'd find under the water. So gonna go ahead and layer that on. Got a little goober. I don't want to push it in too much because it's still really wet. Okay, let's do a little starfish. I like when the starfish, their legs kind of move as if they're swaying in the water. That's cute. Okay, I feel like I need another little either shell. Why don't we do a shell? Let's see. This conch shell is really cute. Oh, I like that. That looks good right there. Like it's just resting on that rock. So do you see how I had to start from the back and move forward? And I start with the bigger items and then work my way forward. I like him tucked in there. We're gonna do that. See how it's making its own slip just by scoring with the vinegar? Works really well. I do that for my handles too. Let's see, do I want it just sitting? It's kind of cute just sitting there. I usually don't like things perfectly upright, but he looks really cute. Oh, so fun fact. Oh, I don't think I have any right here. Sand dollars, those are the white flat things. They are not white. In the ocean, they are different colors. My husband and son went on a California trip, and they went free diving in Monterey Bay and saw sand dollars, like hundreds of them, hundreds and hundreds of them. And they grow and live upright like this. They don't grow flat like that, like a starfish. They live like this, and they roll around like this, and they catch their food as the water and nutrients come at them like this. So he saw hundreds of them all lined up like this, all over, and they were purple. Blew my mind. I didn't believe him at first, and then I looked it up. Incredible. Incredible. Okay, let's see. What am I gonna do next? I think I need a few more of these little guys. Okay. Oh, I spilt my vinegar. I am not a neat, tidy potter. So I'm sorry if that annoys anybody out there. I see some people, oh my goodness, they're so neat and tidy. And here I am, like, covered in clay. I mean, I'm not really covered in clay, but you know what I mean. My hands are covered in clay. What is it, Little Street Pottery? Anne? Her videos are so satisfying to watch. She's so neat and tidy. Okay, that's good. So now I'm just looking around for little holes. I have another starfish that I would love to use. I wonder if I can make him so he's like, oh, he's a little stiff. Come on, buddy, you can do it. I may have to make a new one. He's a little, yeah, I'm gonna make a new one. You see how he's starting to crack? But, you know, no worries. I'm not out anything. Piece of fresh clay. I'm gonna go ahead and use just a bit more. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Holy moly, I'm at 40 minutes already. Yikes. Well, hopefully I can edit some of this stuff out. Okay. So now he's really bendy and wet, but that'll be okay. All right, this won't be as neat and tidy as the others, but my seahorse. Okay, come on out. Come on. Okay. So, kind of wanted him on top of that one. Kind of like bending his, yeah, like that. I lost some of the texture, but that's okay. So I think he looks cute. Yeah, he looks good. Bend his arm just up a little bit. It's like waving hi. Hello. Okay. Give him a little bit more movement. Oh, is that it? Let's see. I'm gonna get a closer look from down below here. Make a few more adjustments. I feel like I need something. This isn't quite right. I may cut this little guy in half. And see. Can I make him sit on there? I kind of like that. Okay. I need more vinegar. Also, I have the best husband in the world. He went to go pick up my daughter so that I can finish this. Okay. Okay. I keep saying that. Okay, okay. This is where I go a little crazy, and it's like, okay, you need to stop now, Sarah. You've done enough. I already have that there. Oh, I do have a sand dollar right there. Should I make him purple? I should make him purple. I think right here. And then I'm gonna be done with the bottom. I promise. I promise. I'm gonna be kicking myself when I have to glaze this. I think these little things are gonna be really cool. The glaze will catch in those tiny little grooves. It'll be neat. Okay. All right, so now I'm just gonna add a few little textured dots. Random. This one's gonna have a little bit more, just to be different. I may add okay. I like that. All right. Now, I did seahorses. Now's the hard part, is to determine where the seahorse. I did a seahorse and a sea turtle and an angelfish. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get this angelfish out. There's so many tiny little pieces. Oh, I don't know. Oh, maybe. 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 Oh boy. Maybe I should just do it. Should I just do it? All right. I'm putting the vinegar on before I pull it out. I may actually not even use my fingers. I feel like, let's see, where's my favorite? I feel like maybe this area should be the seahorses, like right here. So maybe I'll put the angelfish here. Let's see. Oh, I don't know which way is up. Uh-oh. Maybe I will have to pull her out. Come on. Ah. Oh dear. Oh, I can't even tell. Okay. Maybe like that. So we're gonna make a really good connection. I don't think I can see her eye. Okay. She's got this tiny little thing. I can't believe it didn't fall off. And I'm just going to use the brush to push these little bits down. Ooh, she was delicate. Okay. Oh, she's pretty. Yeah, she's really pretty. I don't think I have her eye though. Something. Okay. Yeah, I like her a lot. Okay. Now, what did I say? Thought I wanted the seahorses to be I didn't score that, so I hope it stays, but I did use quite a bit of vinegar. I think I'm gonna have to do another tail for this guy. I think that's cute. They look like they're kissing. Mwah. Okay. So this little tail fell off. It dried up too much. So I'll do another one. I don't think I'm gonna end up using these. Okay. Let's make you another tail. Okay, buddy. It's tricky when it's so wet. Could let it dry a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to let it, yeah, that's not gonna work. One was too dry, one was too wet. This one will be just right. Okay. Such a tiny little piece, you know, and it curls. Okay. All right. We're gonna let that sit aside. All right, I think I'm just pushing this edge down a bit, making sure it's got good adhesion. I don't want him popping off. So what do you guys do? What do you guys do for pricing? Like I've got my first market, I believe in like 3 weeks. It's before Thanksgiving. And I have no idea what to do for pricing. Because something like this, I mean, I've spent hours on this. So I don't know if I can do like my hourly, you know, you can't really do an hourly rate for something that's like this, I wouldn't think. So any advice you guys have on pricing your pottery would be helpful. Okay, turtle. I think I'm gonna have the turtle going like this. Like up, swimming up. Yeah, not too shabby. Let's check in on the tail. How's the tail looking? Ooh, okay. Come on. I'm just folding it and trying to, boy, it really curls around. Eesh. Wow, look at that. Okay. Okay, my darling, you are gonna have a beautiful tail. Look at you. Curl it up. There we go. Oh, look how pretty she is. Okay. Okay, look at you. Miss Hot Stuff. Her tail's so much better than his. Oh well. That's okay. Probably could have made him a new tail, but this is already taking me forever. All right, I'm gonna take a few minutes and just go around and clean this up a little bit. And I'll bring you back when I'm done. Okay, so I'm gonna start working on the topper here. Actually, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take some clay. And I need to do 2 of these, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do. Yeah, there's enough cornstarch in there. go ahead and score this guy because he's gonna be my topper, my tree topper. All right, I'm gonna let him sit for a minute. I'm gonna come over here. Whew. Now is the tricky part. Clean off all these little boogies. All right, I'm gonna get this off of the form, hopefully without any issues. So I'm gonna twist. I don't want to put my hands anywhere where I can do damage. It's like a giant ice cream scoop or ice cream cone. So I'm just pulling these edges away because I think I pinched the bottom. So I'm splaying this bottom edge. Uh-oh. Woo! Okay, it just came. All right. Okay. So I had to do like a little twisting action. And then it comes out clean, right? And I've got this paper. Oops, sorry. I've got this paper inside. I'm gonna leave that for right now because I feel like it gives it a little bit more stability. Okay, I'm gonna pull this top off, and I think I'm gonna switch you guys back to the front view. Okay. All right, so I kind of marred this up a little bit, grabbing it with my hand, you know, to get it out. So I'm just gonna take my red rib, and I had the top wrapped with a plastic baggie, and it kept it nice and wet, which is great. Okay, so I've got my, over here, there we go. Okay, I've got my starfish. I'm gonna go ahead and pop that out and just lay him aside, and I'm gonna do another one. Get some more wet clay. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit more cornstarch. So what else do you guys think we could make a flower, like a garden tree. You could do a beach scene with palm trees if you're like me and you live in the tropics. You could do a forest. Oh, I should do a forest one. That would be really pretty with like black bears and pine trees. That would be really pretty. Yeah, I've got such a love for the mountains and the beach. Okay, that's done pushing to get a good texture, and I'm going to score. You guys can see, right? Yeah, there you go. Okay. Vinegar. It was just like classic me. I was gonna do a regular tree, just like with little, kind of like that one I showed you earlier with the little balls. And then I just got carried away. I was like, I want a beachy one. I want a beachy one. So yeah, I'm gonna make it. Okay, front and back now is the next decision to make. So I think I want it like this, front, and then what will the back? Front and back. Oh, that's cute. Okay, that worked out well. So we're going to score the top and bottom. And on he goes. Doop-de-doo. Give him a little twist. Cute. Okay, now this one. Is coming out. And he is gonna match up on this side. Let's do it so you guys can see. Match up his little legs. And I have him kind of wrap around a little bit like that. Okay. Smooth the edges a bit. I don't want to do too much with my fingers. So, oh boy, I need to be taller. I'm just getting where they're joining together, and then I'll figure out I'm just cleaning this up. All right, well, you guys get the idea. I'm gonna continue to clean this up a little bit, and then I'll be back when I start carving. But I need to let this sit for a little while to firm up so that I can carve into it. So what I'm gonna do is, sorry, I'm still concentrating. So they just look like two little starfish that are giving each other a high five. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to wrap it with some fabric, kind of drape this. I may actually put my plastic bag back on. Just carefully. Loosely too. And then I may do kind of like this. Just kind of wrap the bottom up so that some of the moisture can come out. But it's also going to slow down the drying of the smaller pieces. So yeah. All right, I'll see you guys later. Okay, so next day, that's why I have different clothes on. I'm gonna go ahead and unwrap this. I'm gonna leave the top shell covered because it's got such small little arms and legs. I don't want it to dry out. So I'm just gonna leave him kind of wrapped up. So as you can see with the other ones that I did, I carved some water lines, little waves, and also some more seaweed at the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. My husband is in here working on making me some shelves, so I'm gonna mute you guys so he can keep working. I'm gonna use this. I think this is a diamond core. I don't know, it's like a V shape. This other one was a knockoff. I'm not sure exactly where I got it. And I may use this little V. Can you see it? Yeah, there you go. And this is a ZM Tools. It's got two sides to it. After I do the waves, you'll see me use these little hole punchers. And I'll use two different sizes. I'll use a smaller one and a medium one. And then I go ahead and use a needle tool to do the smallest holes. Okay, so I'm going to mute you, maybe put some music on. I may speed it up so you guys can just watch, but it won't be too long. Okay. So I think I have it fairly well cleaned up. I'll, go over it again at different angles. So now I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out. You can see it just comes right out. And the inside, you see all the little holes and everything? That will need to be cleaned out. I may let me grab a rib. And I'm gonna gently, it's still kind of wet. I should probably wait till this dries a little bit more. I may do that. Yeah, because it's still kind of goobery. It's gonna plug up the holes. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna wait till it dries, and then I'm gonna take a metal rib and scrape off all the boogers and stuff inside. But for right now, the holes are done, the carving is done. It's essentially all completed. I'm aware that the smaller holes will probably get closed up with glaze, but I'm okay with that. I'm hoping that maybe some of the light will shine through them. If not, then it still just adds a little bit of texture, and it looks like little small bubbles coming up from the bottom of the ocean. So yeah, so I think that's gonna conclude the video. Yeah, I'm gonna cover up this top really well so it doesn't dry out too quickly. Okay, so let me just give you a final look over. Here's the other side. And then let me show you guys the other trees that I've made. Pardon the messy background. So that is just like the one that we just made. This was kind of a fun one. I made it out of monstera leaves. So yeah, well, thanks for joining me, you guys, and I'll probably do a separate video for how I glaze them, because this is going to be way too long as it is. All right, thanks guys, bye.